Today we are going to look at the big picture. We're going to look at fraction multiplication and learn a very important skill when figuring out if our answer is right or not. We're going to compare fractions based on their factors. Now let's review real quick what a factor is. If I have 4 times 3 equals 12, I've got my factors right here, the numbers that I multiply together. And then I have my product right here. Product here. Factors are multiplied. The product's the answer. The factors are the number you multiply together. So using these, we're going to look at our factors. And we're going to look at the answer and see if we notice any patterns. And to do this, we really want to focus in on this fact of what we already know. 1 times a number is the same number, right? So let's look over here. I have 1 times 3/4. Well, I don't even have to do the math. I know 1 times any number is the number. So this is 3 over 4. Now let's look, and let's compare. We have our product and we have our factors. Notice the factor. One of them is fairly important, and I'll let you make that distinction of which one is important by looking at the screen. Now, let's go to the next question. We have 1/2 times 3/4. Well, if I know how to multiply quickly with fractions, I know that I'm going to multiply the top. 1 times 3, which is 3, and 2 times 4, which is 8. 3 over 8. Okay, we're going to look at our product. And now, take a look here. Oh, I highlighted the wrong factor up here. I gave you such a big hint, and then it was the wrong one. So, you don't want to look at this factor, because this factor stays the same the whole time. Silly Mr. O. You want to look at this factor. This is the important factor right here. Take a look at that one. And then you see this. Now we're going to look at this product, and we're going to look at this factor. And we'll look at this factor too, I guess. Ask yourself, I multiplied by a fraction times the same number. Did I get a bigger number than the top one, or a similar number, or a smaller number? Okay, let's look at the last one. We have 4 times 3 over 4, which we know is 4 times 3, which is 12, over 4. This is equal to 3. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So I have 3/4 if I multiply by 1. I have 3/8 if I multiply by 1/2. 3/8 is bigger. 3/8 is smaller than 1/2. Oh my goodness. 3/8 is smaller than 3/4. Would you agree? Let's take a look and multiply this by 2 just to make sure. This is 6 over 8. So 3/8 is smaller than the answer. If I multiply by a fraction, I'm going to get a smaller number. If I multiply by 1, I get the same number. If I multiply by a number bigger than 1, I get a bigger number than the one I multiplied. Might be a little confusing here. Let's try this again, and I won't make as many slips. We're going to do 4 times 7/8. And the question is my answer going to be bigger or is it going to be smaller than 7/8? Taking 4 times 7, which is 28 over 8. And if I simplify that, 28 divided by 8 is 3, and then I have 4 left over, so 4/8, which is really equal to 3 1/2. Tell me, is this, or tell yourself, I should say, is this bigger or smaller than 7/8. Yeah, it's bigger for sure. And because we multiplied by a whole number, a bigger number than a fraction. So this gets us a bigger number. Let's look at another one. We have 5/8. Oh, let me redo that one. 5/8 times 6. Is my answer going to be bigger or smaller than 6? Tell yourself now and see if you're right. 5 times 6 is 30/8. 30/8. Well, if I get that in a mixed number, I'm going to have 4 with 6/8 left over. That equals 4 divided by 2 divided by 2, and 3/4. 30 divided by 8. 4 3/4. Is that larger or smaller than 6? It's smaller. Because I multiplied by a fraction, I get a smaller number, and that's the whole point. If we multiply by 1, we get the same number we started with.